This is my radio, and it can connect to 5 different radio stations: 99.9 Virgin Radio, 98.7 CKFG, 97.3 CHBM, 94.1 CBC, and 93.5 CFXJ. I can toggle the radio station by clicking this button. I have this radio module which receives the signal from this antenna, and I retrieve the audio output through this headphone wires. I also have this audio amplifier, and I can change the volume by adjusting the potentiometer, and the audio output appears on this speaker. Additionally, I can also show the waveforms of the audio on this OLED screen. However, when I do that, the audio output is really finicky, so I'll show that separately. This is the waveform on the OLED screen. Now I'll explain how this project works. First, I call the libraries, I define pins for the radio, and then I create a variable called samples, which basically creates the samples for the audio waveform. And then you can see my 5 radio stations, which are stored in this library station frequency. So I store all the radio stations here, and I begin with the first radio, 99.9. And my setup, I basically start the initialization of the OLED screen, the radio module, and the serial monitor. And the radio module works on I2C. That's why I call the wire library. And then I basically call the tune radio function. So my tune radio function communicates with the radio module and sends 5 bytes of data. The first 2 bytes are just the internal frequency, and then other 2 bytes basically enable different features of the radio module, and the 5th byte is just all 0, so that's why I don't have it in my code. And then I'm basically beginning the I2C communication, sending the data, and then ending it. The next function is the generate wave function, which generates a wave and puts it on the OLED screen. And the first thing I need to do is capture the audio signal, which is analog. I need to convert it to a digital value. So I need to use its ADC values. So I read the value on the audio signal, and then I store it into an array. I reset the buffer for the OLED screen, and then I basically map the ADC values on the OLED by using the map function, and then I draw it using the draw line function. And then finally, I send the data to the OLED. And my loop function, I just create code that enables the button debouncing of the button so that I can move on to the next radio station after button press.